Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, sad news and probably the right decision. One of the greatest fighters in Manny Pacquiao has decided to call his time on his career. This was reported by Michael Benson. There hasn't been an official announcement, but it looks like that interview was good as day. Michael Benson put on his Twitter a link to the YouTube channel where Manny Pacquiao says, that's it, you know, enough's enough. And he basically said that, you know, I think he said something on the lines that now that I'm running for president, you know, my boxing career, there's no way I can handle my boxing career. So I think Manny Pacquiao's not going to fight again. Man, it's end of an era. It's a sad day for me. You know, Manny Pacquiao is one of the fighters that got me into the sport of boxing. You know, he's one of the fighters that I've admired and I've watched over the years. He's an icon. He's a legend. He's an all-time great. And, you know, as I explained yesterday in my video, a guy that came from nothing to become one of the greatest fighters of all time. He was a replacement opponent. He basically was what Ruiz was, you know, for Joshua, just a replacement. And actually, you'd have to say Ruiz might have been a little bit more well known than Pacquiao at that point. He was a replacement opponent, and Ledwaba was supposed to beat him. Manny Pacquiao beat Ledwaba, and the rest is history, man. What a career! 8 division world champion, an icon of our sport, an absolute living legend. We ain't gonna get to see another Manny Pacquiao, I don't think. You know, he's had so many, like, the thing is, you know, you get fighters that have had 1 or 2 good fights. Generally, most of the top fighters have 1, 2, maybe good fights. Like, in Pacquiao's case, he's had like 20. Like, you know, he's had so many fights. What are we gonna remember? The Morales trilogy, the Barrera, you know, the Marquez fights, 4 of them. What are we gonna remember? The you know, Margarito fight, the Cotto fight, the Mosley fight, the De La Hoya fight, you know, Thurman fight. It's endless, man. The career is endless. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going, man. It feels like it never ends. You could be here all day talking about his run at the top, man. It's been a phenomenal run. Phenomenal run. A legend, an absolute legend, an all-time great fighter. A fighter that, you know, we'll never see the likes of Manny Pacquiao again. You know, it's heartbreaking to see him retire, but because from a selfish point of view, I'd love to see him carry on, but obviously it's probably not the right thing. The right thing is for him to retire, and he's done the right thing. Let's be honest, he's done the right thing in terms of him, you know, running for president and all of those things. He's done the right thing. You know, there's no way he can fight on. You know, he hit the nail on the head himself. There's no way I can fight on with all those commitments. It's just not. There's too many responsibilities when you're running for president. You know, you can't have a president fighting, and, you know, you have to take that job very, very seriously. And Manny Pacquiao is a very, very serious individual. And what I mean by that is he dedicates himself to boxing. He dedicates himself to whatever he does. And you can see that, you know. So I think the right time is now for him to call time on his career. I think, you know, the Ugas fight showed that he wasn't the fighter. And listen, it may have been that anyway. Even if he had beaten Ugas, that might have been it. Because let's be honest, this takes priority over boxing. This is bigger than boxing. See, boxing is like, a boxing community is very small. I know some people like Manny Pacquiao managed to build and make their name, you know, massive among, you know, even the casuals, and in the world they make their name because of what they've achieved. But nevertheless, there'll be a lot of people in the world that don't know Manny Pacquiao. But becoming a president, you can make your name all over the world. It's an opportunity that, you know, you can't really turn away, because him becoming president, he has an opportunity to create a legacy for his country that surpasses anything that he's done in boxing. You know, Manny Pacquiao has always been a very giving champion. He's always done a lot for his Filipino people, and I'm pretty sure he will continue to do a lot, you know, for his people. And listen, I wish him all the best, man. I wish him all the best in becoming president. So some of you don't think it's going to be that easy for him, but to be honest, I don't know much about the Philippines politics for me to give my say on it. But I wish Manny Pacquiao all the best. It's going to be sad because I'm not gonna be able to do many videos on Manny anymore, you know, because Manny's career is coming to an end. Or it's an end, you know, we're at the end. I do hope that if Manny does retire, and listen, I think with Manny Pacquiao's case, I don't think you'll see him do exhibitions like you did with Mayweather, because I think Manny Pacquiao, I think Manny Pacquiao now is looking to become president. He's not going to be doing those type of fights just to make money. He's a president of a country. You know, you can't be involved in fights with Jake Paul and Logan Paul and stuff like that. Conor McGregor, that's not going to happen. He's had his career in boxing, and most importantly now, you know, he needs to stay away from boxing as well, because what you got to realize is that his goal now is to lead his country. You know, and he's already had a very hard career. You know, he's already had a very hard career, and as a president, you have to be, you know, you have to be alert. You know, and he is. You know, to be honest, Manny Pacquiao is still in a good way. He speaks well. You know, but you don't want to keep going. You don't want to keep going. So I think this is the right time for Manny Pacquiao to retire. I think the fact that now he's running for president as well, I think that was probably tipping of the iceberg, where, you know, he's probably thinking that's enough's enough. Enough's enough. And I'm pretty sure his family had a say as well, because he in his last fight, he didn't look his normal self. He looked, you know, you could tell he looked 42, even though I still think he looked very good. And I still think that, and I still believe, and I'm still believe this, and we'll never get to know now, but Manny Pacquiao, for me, could have still beaten Ugas. I feel that he could have beaten Ugas. I'm not saying he would have, but I think he could have. I think he still had it with the right game plan, with the right preparation. I think he could have put himself in a position to beat Ugas, even at this stage. But I think some people think he should have retired after Keith Thurman. Some people think he should have retired after Keith Thurman fight, because they thought he had done everything. What was the purpose of him fighting on? He had done it all. There was no reason for him to continue fighting after Keith Thurman, because that would have been a great way for him to go out. And it's sad that he will now go out on a loss. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter whether he goes on a loss or whatever. He's an icon. He's a living legend. He's somebody that, you know, we've all looked up to. We've all loved. We've all looked at and think, you're one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time, and he will be well and truly missed. The sport of boxing will be much poorer without the great Manny Pacquiao. It will be poorer. And it's sad. Like I said, I am very sad. I'm upset. But at the end of the day, for me, the right call has been made. And Manny Pacquiao knows. Listen, Manny Pacquiao knows best himself when you know, when it's time, and he knows that there's a bigger picture now that he's looking at. He's looking at, you know, he's got bigger fish to fry than boxing. Boxing was a great journey, and he had a great career. He had a great run, but now it's about creating a different legacy, a legacy which will mean far much more, far great, you know, it will mean a lot more, especially in the Philippines. So let's see if people vote for him. Now, he is loved extremely in the Philippines. So let's see if he gets voted. I do think that sometimes, you know, there's another sportsman in Pakistan you guys might not know, but Imran Khan, he was a cricket player. And he's a prime minister in Pakistan. Sometimes going into politics isn't the best thing, because sometimes you could be an icon and going into politics, because it's a different game. It's you know, you're not a sportsman. You're leading a country. and you can never, there's always going to be people unhappy with you. So sometimes you can tarnish yourself as well. It depends on how, whether we can keep people happy. You're never going to be able to keep everyone happy. So I hope, I don't know, like I said, I have no idea what the Philippines politics is like, so I can't really comment. So all I can say is I wish Manny Pacquiao all the best. He's an all-time great. He's a legendary fighter. He's somebody that I will always consider. If I was to do a top 10 list of some of the most inspirational people that have inspired me, I think Manny makes that top 10. Easy. Easy, because you have to say that Manny was one of the ones that got me into boxing, and boxing is my favorite sport now. Without question, boxing is my favorite sport. So Manny Pacquiao played a big part in me getting into boxing. So icon, just an icon, man, a legend, a guy that, you know, will be missed. The sport will miss Manny Pacquiao, man. The sport will miss Manny Pacquiao. One of the greatest fighters ever. One of the greatest fighters. I'll say that again. One of the greatest fighters ever. We won't see another like him. We won't see another like him. An all-time great. Thank you for the memories, Manny Pacquiao. I'll see you guys in the next video, guys. Peace.